Hey, it's Tess, content creator, model, presenter, and host of the Tess Talks podcast, on a mission to ignite curiosity. It's crazy that it's almost been 5 years since I think Sean first engaged you.
Yeah, whoa.
Which is insane. That's half a decade.
Yeah, and that was pre-COVID. Just as COVID was starting.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I remember working on it during COVID.
Mm.
Yeah.
And he engaged you just, I think, just before him and I got together.
Yeah.
Which is when he first engaged conversations with you. And then I started jumping along for the journey when the conversations got serious with McKimm's as well. And
It was so fun when like your influence came in, because then it had this whole feminine touch and I could be like, so Tess, what are you doing in this room? Like,
that was
like,
nice. And you guys started being like, so Tess, what about this? Like,
it's official.
We might touch on those earlier designs, but I wanted to make a note because I feel like you guys really deserve a huge congratulations as everyone in the team that we officially got published in Vogue Living, which is a huge achievement.
It's wild, isn't it?
Absolutely wild.
A testament to you though, because the way you spoke was incredible.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
No.
And you. Well, team effort.
But I think that video of you is their number one viewed video of all of their content.
It's the number one by far.
We have just hit, or they have just hit, over 1 million views on their Instagram.
Yeah, I feel like we should give ourselves a round of applause.
We should.
Yeah. Gonna get a hell yeah.
I just love how that was like this goal that was set right from the beginning.
Yeah.
And we're like, it might not happen, probably won't. They're so picky. And then,
So it's a really difficult publication to be featured in. So, I couldn't think of a more suitable project for it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we all were confident early on that we would be able to. But as we were pitching, we actually had basically a rejection at our first pitch, which was really interesting. And then I think after there was a bit of deliberation, and I was very adamant that we should keep pushing. I was like, no, I really feel like this is worthy. And it's almost a hard home to show because there are so many elements and it's hard to capture just in photography. So when they came back to us and they were like, we'd love to do something digital and an online print, I was like, that is tenfold better. Like I feel like you can just experience a house so much more through like long form content.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And the videographer, how he got into all those details and the zoom in, even just the light fittings, that gets lost in a big shot.
Yeah.
And you walking through the space, it really gave it justice.
Yeah.
And the audience loved it. I think that they've kept posting more photos too. So
yeah, it's been an amazing amount of exposure and responses. And so that video is live on the Vogue Living YouTube, so anyone can go and watch that. And we delve into a few of like the design elements and stuff that we'll also touch on today, but everyone should definitely go and watch that. So before we carry on, I feel like we should give the audience and listeners a little insight into who they're listening to.
Good point.
Yeah. So we have Danica, who is one of our lead architects from McKimm on our project, and Izzy, who is our lead interior designer. So you guys have basically become part of our family because we've worked together so much for the last 5 years.
I know where all your things go in the house.
Yes. You've seen all my things.
It's really funny. Like you get to know someone so well to the point where like, I know your bra drawer.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Literally everything. You've measured out every scope of my house and my needs. And
It's such an intimate journey,
isn't it? Yeah.
To get to know each other so well for this to work. And that's what's so great about every project. Like every client is different and it's a whole new journey.
Yeah.
A whole new story.
And you've been there for our engagement, for the birth of our daughter. Like
I remember when you told us you were pregnant. That was very exciting.
I remember that too. I was so excited to tell you guys.
Happen soon.
And then I was like, so we can design the nursery now.
Yes, that was so good.
Yeah. So do you guys want to give the listeners just a really quick intro into a bit about who you are, a bit about your background, and maybe even your design expertise?
Yeah, sure. So we are from McKimm, Architecture Interior Design. I've been with the business for 12 years now. I'm a director. I take care of all the architecture. I run the team. Isabella leads the interiors. So there's a small team there of interior designers. And I think over the last 10 or so years, Iz has been part of McKimm for maybe 7 or 8.
I think 8.
Yeah.
8 and a bit now, yeah.
We've seen a lot of growth in architecture and interior design in Australia. And I think Australia gets a lot of recognition for our design. A lot of other countries really look towards Australia for inspiration. And I think the local project is a really good example of that, and how they've taken a lot of our Australian architecture and interiors, elevated it onto a worldwide platform that's getting so much reach. But for us to see the growth at McKimm, that's been really special. We've, really, really grown as a team, and the projects we've taken on have really challenged us and built our skill set. Where we are today is the prime example of that.
And I think on that, Danica, like the Australian design world growing and our clients wanting what they maybe were initially seeing in overseas publications. So they're coming now saying, I want this. So our expertise have grown, the briefs are becoming more and more incredible. And every project now is just the immaculate, they always have been, but they're also a lot more unique, I think, because people are bringing their flair. And, since COVID, like when we talked about our style of architecture and style of design, we all have our own personal preferences, and maybe our home will always be slightly different to maybe what we design, but which is great because it changes it up and it's a lot of fun. But I've really enjoyed really leaning into that, especially with this home, the relaxing, calming environment and how that comes through in, minimal forms and earthy finishes. And so I feel like that is kind of becoming our expertise in our style, like how to make your home this sanctuary. Yeah,
because I feel like this style was somewhat kind of different to what your team had been, I guess, focusing on and heroing in your original designs before working with us. I would say, I don't know exactly how you'd describe the style. You guys would be better at that, but more of those like concrete finishes and potentially darker palettes, that real like beautiful, like modern, I don't know what that design is called.
It's usually very contemporary. This is also contemporary, but it has that more organic earthiness to it, which was new. Yeah.
And there is still such a place for the concrete aesthetic as well.
Totally,
the rawness. So it really is a personal preference and quite subjective as well. But that's the beauty of what we do. It's so tailored to each client.
So what were your first impressions when the very first initial brief came in from Mr. Sean Wilson himself?
I will never forget meeting Sean for the first time. So as you mentioned, he actually came to McKimm without you. So I brought along.
Here we go.
Thank God for Tess. No, Sean's brief was a great vision too. Would have been another awesome project.
Sean brought along a PowerPoint presentation. So for those watching, I'm holding it up here. It was quite a lengthy presentation. So these are 4 of the first slides.
Need to read the title.
The title is really important. It was originally called The Bel Air of Brighton. So that, I think, kind of says something in itself for the direction that Sean wanted to go before bringing Tess on board. It was quite a high contrast in terms of materials. It was very bold, very much. There's some keywords about being dramatic, engaging.
Dramatic.
And there is the reference to having water feature touch points throughout the home with fire.
Very cool.
Very LA. Let's just point out, this is when Sean was working and spending a lot of time in Los Angeles, getting a lot of his inspiration from those classic LA Hollywood Hills mansions.
Exactly.
Bachelor hats.
I think my first time I met him, he told me he wanted water and fire in his, like, water behind his bed. I was going,
exactly.
Yes, that was a big feature. Water running behind the bed as the bed frame, bed head.
Yes, how do you think you would have gone with that now? It's pretty cool.
Let's just say we would have been doing some home renos if that would have been the home.
Yes.
But I love that the vision was there from the start.
It was,
and it still carried through in some elements. It's just maybe a bit softer.
It was exactly that. I think it was finessing the elements. We still have beautiful elements of water. Like one of my favorite features of the home is our reverse infinity pool, which overflows onto basically, so we don't have to have a pool fence. We have this water overflow spillage And so with that overflow, you get a beautiful sound of the rippling water that you can hear up from our bedroom.
I was going to say when the doors open.
Oh my gosh, it's the most like tranquil, beautiful sound. And it's just a design element that I didn't even think about how that was going to kind of evolve and get that whole sound effect.
Yeah, all those sensory touches, I think, make a real difference. Sort of thing when you notice when you're in a resort, you know, just that really calming feel.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think somewhere, sorry.
Yeah. Was there another little feature in there?
A sexy swimming pool.
I don't know about that one. The sexy swimming pool.
Yeah.
I mean, our pool does have rainbow flashing lights, so that's kind of fun.
I haven't seen them one yet.
Yeah, they're actually pretty. I actually didn't know that we had that. And then about 3 or 4 months ago, Sean's like, look at this. I was like, oh my God, it's the home that keeps on giving. It's the home that just,
so good.
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, I guess as I stepped into the project a bit more and met the team, like I was so excited to work with you guys. And I think what we loved about McKimm so much early on and why we decided to engage you, one was not just because we loved the team, we got a really good feel from everyone really early on, but it was also the fact that you're entirely integrated. So your architects, interior design team and builders are all together, and that just makes for really seamless communication. It means no one can really blame anyone else because you're all across everyone. Yeah. But it just meant that everything worked really well. And that was a massive selling point for us. And then as I stepped into the project and we started working on the designs together, it's exactly as you said, we started incorporating these really like earthy, neutral, of course, everyone knows we're a very like neutral fam. We love all the new, I know it's a bit like conflicting, a bit of rage bait. Sometimes people are like, where's the color, blah, blah, but we don't like that. This for us is very calming.
It is.
It's very grounding, and, you know, life is so busy and chaotic, and we wanted that place so we could come home and really like retreat. And as you said earlier, like it is our sanctuary.
Yeah.
And there are areas of the home which feel like a sanctuary. They feel like a retreat, and they don't feel like they're in Melbourne. Like we feel like we've been transported, you know, to a remote island, or there's even those facets of LA stepping through the home. But then contrasted to that, because Sean and I love socializing, we love hosting and entertaining. We have so many beautiful entertaining areas as well. We've got Sean's cocktail bar on the ground floor. Then we've got our whole entertaining space downstairs, which has those darker palettes that a lot of people really love. That's hybrided with our cinema room. We've obviously added the DJ booth, which is a so fun little element with the little VIP area. And then like adjacent to that is the wellness area. So we can do the full wellness mode recovery.
That's the ultimate dream. I think that wellness space in your own home, so good.
It's it's honestly.
Even the way that evolved, like initially it was probably just going to be a gym.
Actually,
I don't even think it was a gym. Used the word wellness center.
No, but also I think as we started excavation on site, COVID may have hit. I'm not sure where we were at with COVID, but that idea of wellness in the home really grew when people were forced to spend more time at home. And I think you and Sean saw that as an opportunity to literally dig deeper, extend the basement. The basement comes all the way to the front street now, to the tidal boundary. So you inherited so much more space than originally thought and have created something incredible.
It's such a unique element, and we thought, well, we own the land, why not maximize every element, every square foot that we can. And that's given, I think what's so unique about it is that normally you imagine a basement kind of like that small and pockety area. You dump the cars, you dump some weights and treadmill or whatever. This is such a destination and it's designed with so much intent. The fact that you've been able to bring so much light into an area that's often very dark and hard to convey light and shadow and beautiful design and curvature throughout that. That's something that I've like never really seen before.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you're in a basement at all down there.
Yeah, it's often an afterthought in some homes, but we really consider it from the very beginning. So making sure that the connection is there and that amenity is something you can enjoy.
Dee, can you talk to us a little bit about, I guess, the biggest like design elements of the home, some of the elements that were so unique and different and even a bit of a challenge for the architectural team to work on?
So I think one of the first decisions we made from an architecture perspective was, because you have both crossings, which is so rare, especially in Bayside, deciding which one to use as your driveway ramp. So once we chose to go with the western side, that set the house closer to the east to create that space for the light to come through during the day and then in the afternoon. Once we did that as well, we really created the core of the home. We established where all the cars were, the car bays were, that garage. It wasn't just a garage, it was an extension of the home. It feels like it's just naturally flowing into the house. From there, we created the core and the staircase that wraps around the lift from the basement to get you up to ground. There was a deliberate decision there to break out the spiral staircase, which is the main feature of the home.
Otherwise, it would have kept going the whole way.
So breaking out that spiral staircase to let it be the heart of the home, be sculptural. That was a deliberate choice so that it's something you can enjoy from when you're entering the property through the front door. You see that, and it's honestly beautiful. Like it's a work of art. It's such a such a piece that we're so proud of from our design team, but also from the team who physically built it on site.
Yeah, it's a really engineering masterpiece. And I feel like that staircase really influenced a lot of the house because that real curvature is what flowed through a lot of the walls. Like as you step to the upstairs hallway, or the first floor hallway, the wall and the staircase actually wraps around, it curves into the wall, but the curves don't stop there. They carry through the hall. It's the arch spiral walkway into our master bedroom. It's the curved walls into the Romy's room and the guest room that curves through to their ensuite. Like the flow stays through the whole home, and I feel like that was really influenced originally from that staircase.
Yeah, exactly. And I would definitely love to give a shout out to Liam in our office.
Yes,
he modelled that staircase in our 3D software endlessly, rotating it,
iterations, and
he'd come to work and say he'd had nightmares on the weekend of just spiral staircases. So I think the point is that we really think everything through and consider how it's connected at every point so that it's seamless.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we're so proud of is that every room you step into, it's its own moment, it's its own wow factor. Like every room and area of the home has a talking point, and there's nothing was an afterthought. And that's like a lot of the rooms that I think often in homes are overlooked. So for example, like a walk-in robe, you can have a beautiful walk-in robe, but often we find they're not like a wow moment or they're not like a destination. That was really big for us. Those original designs we had the upstairs seating room at the top of the stairs, and we thought, look, we've already got so many sitting rooms. Oh, do you have the original design?
I do,
And Sean's dad was like, do not get rid of that upstairs seating room. And I was like, we've got enough. We want a massive walk-in robe.
Oh, that's been the best thing ever. It's a boutique. That was like, we need to build a boutique here.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of options, but
I'll point to it. So here.
I think, that decision for you, that's an example of when something is so specifically tailored to the client and you're not thinking about, future resale or anything like that. Obviously that is important to an extent, but I think what is more important to this scale is doing something that's right for you. And
you might never sell it.
Well, hopefully not. But Sean actually said it's always the wife or the woman who ends up buying the house who gets the final word. And what woman doesn't want a mega size walk-in robe?
Well, that's true.
And their own, vanity bench and
so
he saw it as a good selling point. I thought, great, I agree.
The biggest walk-in robe we've designed.
It's so cool.
But that was the same with a lot of other. It was the same with the gym. Again, we wanted that to be a destination. We wanted it to feel inviting and welcoming. Like how often do you go to a gym where you just don't really feel that motivated to work out? It feels a bit like grimy or dirty. It's all about the feel of everything. The fact we've been able to make each of these areas feel so unique and so statement is pretty amazing. How would you describe the overall design style of this home?
It's so hard to define it in one word because there's so many different influences. So obviously the contemporary aspects are something that we carry through every single McKimm project, and that's in the architecture where we've got a lot of cantilevered structures that don't have many vertical supports or columns. We've got quite thin blades that act as canopies as well. But then on the inside, we drew inspiration from a lot of Mediterranean homes and projects throughout the world as well. So, it's hard to define in one word. And I think what Isabella was saying before about how it's so earthy and organic with all the curves and with the material palette you've chosen. It's a very unique combination.
Even with you know, I think a lot of the styles are influenced off older styles of architecture, and even, I'm going to throw this in here, a little bit of ancient architecture as well. And this goes back to uni when we were studying. I did a subject and we looked at sort of sacred spaces, and I did it with a friend, and we looked at even just how caves used to resonate. And so they'd vibrate, and it would create this sort of really holistic space for people back then. And that then that influenced places of worship. So mosques, churches, and that's those dome-like structures and curves. So I don't even know if that we realize this, but a lot of what we're designing and bringing through, and even all the biophilic aspects, it's coming from this really innate, almost ancient connection that we have to the built form. And so it's a lot deeper than just, you know, design is very philosophical, and it's you really do have a connection to it.
And it's funny because I feel like that energy then also translates through that space. Like, for example, even our shower, it's very cave-like, and it has exactly kind of what you're referencing. But when you're in there, you feel like you're in your own little world, your own little bubble, like it's its own moment. It's almost quite like meditative in its feel, which is interesting that you say that there's so many like religious or like holy kind of spaces that were kind of referenced off that, and you can kind of see that connection and interlink.
It is really interesting. It's almost like a subconscious thing. I don't know if we realize that we like that. Even the texture of the walls, it feels like you're in a big boulder or something, and for some reason it makes us feel good.
Definitely. Yeah.
What areas of the home do you each feel like you're most proud of?
I'm really proud of the wellness center and that connection with the light as well. And it was tricky with the actual build. It's quite complex how you step down from the basement even further. It's more sunken, more subterranean, but it creates such a special feeling, like you're on a journey to the gym and wellness space. I think that's come together so well.
Yeah. I think I've got a few spaces where there's really intricate joinery details, because that was something that was a vision that we both had, how to create, like the gold bar, for example, and then the doors into the wine cellar. We had a lot of meetings to discuss, you know, how it's going to seal and still look good and not be chunky, and we want the pivot, and I love when we're all in a team, and that's exactly what's so great about being the builder and the designer, is that we do all come together as a team. There's no egos. We're all in it together, and we nut out those details, and it's so satisfying when, you know, it comes through.
Yeah.
So you're so right. I actually forget about all those moments where literally to discussions around door hinges and how to make things more seamless, and something that we're so proud of is obviously the glazing in our living and kitchen area, which has no beam support. Correct. Dee, you can explain how that works.
It actually has a huge beam.
Yes.
No column support.
No column support. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
It has a really large concrete beam that supports the whole window span essentially. So it's such a subtlety, because when you're in the space, you don't know why it feels so good and feels so open, but it's because you and Sean took the time to understand those things and make those decisions. So it's a absolute like pleasure working with clients who get so involved and respect and appreciate the process and all the different experts who are involved.
Even just like back to that cocktail bar, I don't think people would know that there's an ice machine in there, there's a fridge in there. Did we do a dishwasher in the end?
We did,
And to get all that in, it still needs ventilation, it needs to all function. It's pretty impressive.
Even in above the cocktail bar, that bulkhead that's curved, that's
and the
concealing
in there.
the mechanical ventilation.
Yeah.
So there's so many little details throughout that are very subtle.
That Sean and I come in and we're like, change this, do that. And throughout the whole project, we're like, can we add this? I think we added the ice bath like 6 months before the home was to be completed. You literally had to redo like a whole section of the basement, had to add a skylight, kind of an outdoor, put plumbing in.
Cool.
It's so cool.
Oh my gosh. Thank God you did say that.
Because, but we definitely kept you guys busy.
You definitely
and
did.
Sean obsessed with measurements. I remember he'd be up every night at our apartment and and he was nonstop moving. He would, I kid you not, get up at 2 a.m., remeasure everything, and then be emailing you guys like, I think we need to tweak this. What about this cabinetry? Like, like it's good.
And it's honestly so understandable because it's such a big journey, big decision, such an incredible home for you guys. Like, totally understand why it was keeping him up. Yeah.
So, Isa, how do you go about sourcing and curating furniture items when you're first starting on a project?
Yeah, so it would start, and by this point, by the time I'm selecting furniture, I have a pretty good relationship with our clients. I know them pretty well. So it does start again with a brief. We talk about how the furniture needs to function for them, because furniture has to be functional, but at the same time, we want it to be aesthetic. So we talk about which areas they want to maybe lounge in or they want as more decorative. So we sort of set that foundation. Then I find that there's different brands that will align with clients better or worse. So I have a pretty good knowledge now just because of doing it for so many years of sort of what's out there on the market. So I definitely like to include the timeless pieces, but I also love, and we've done a few here as well, like your booth seat and and light fittings, bringing in custom pieces and working with local makers to add that different dimension. So it's not all just new designer pieces. I guess a challenge with it is, it's we as we grow, like we know what we're doing, but doing something on plan and then seeing it in the space, like there's still that, will it work? It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's hard to do things off a screen all the time. And even when you're presenting your brief to your client or to us, it's like, okay, great. Like we can kind of like for us, it's very hard to picture things in our minds. Like Sean and I always needed to see stuff in the space. So it's actually very difficult and quite a skill to like curate everything in your mind, then have to translate that to a client and then get the approval for each piece. So
So a lot of fun is then going out to the showrooms and looking at pieces and sitting on them. And over time I've just started like collecting different ideas and putting pieces aside that maybe they'll be right for a project. So it's a mix of going to showrooms and finding one-offs, bit of, how we got your that tray downstairs from it, that's vintage from somewhere in France.
Yeah.
That was fun to source.
Love that
and
tray.
the sconces, the lights, so bit of everything.
I love those sconces. How do you feel what you wanted to achieve here tied into what Sean and I wanted to achieve here?
Yeah, as in like, did it align sort of thing?
Yeah, like when we first came to you and
Yeah, I was really excited. Yeah. Maybe because we're similar age as well. Like I feel like I loved everything you loved. So I was like, epic. This is going to be a lot of fun. And then especially some of those key pieces in the chill lounge, getting to put in that Pierre Augustin rose sofa and the goobies and the chandelier, just dream. So we had a lot of fun.
And also these that I'm sitting on right now, you guys aren't because you couldn't share one, but what I always forget the name of these. What are they called again?
So they're the Chameleonda sofa.
Yes.
B&B Italia, Mario Bellini
that we sourced from Space, and they actually came in the wrong fabric. And they were throwing
off like the right one, but they just had that weird batch
throwing off like a purple, which all kind of weirdly worked with the coffee table, but me being neutral was like, no, I think we need to
and shout out to Just Adele, local. So that's the thing, custom shaped rug, local designer Just Adele for the cube, and then we've got our Italian armchair. And it's like a really nice mix of everything.
And you're really good at that, at trying to bring in a lot of local designers like Proxima, who did our dining table, that really curved, curated.
It's nice to lift up the Aussies and work locally. 100%.
Good.
You're good at what you do.
Oh, thanks.
It's nice doing the hybrid, and I feel like in Australia too, we feel like so far from everything as well. So I know there was a few pieces I wanted to get, but it's not always super accessible here. Importing things and getting things shipped, especially like more delicate items. I remember there was a few we were really looking at.
I know, and then just to ship them was going to be a nightmare. But that's where, like, back to what we were talking about at the start, Australian design, even across all the way through to furniture manufacturing, and I think pretty much all the lights we went with, except for a few, are Australian made. All the Articolo, Christopher Boots.
What are some of your favorite suppliers at the minute? I know a lot of people listening are doing their own like home build renovation journey, and I get so many questions about literally everything from suppliers we've worked with to materials to door fittings, door handles. So give us a shout out to maybe some of your favorites or your go-tos.
Yeah. Well, besides all like your OG European, been around since the 40s, big brands, besides them, because they'll forever be amazing. There's some really great, even Melbourne-based studios coming through. Fleur Studios, who did your coffee tables down the front.
Yep.
They're great. Harbro, we've worked with them. They local manufacturing of sofas. Jardin's a great Australian brand. Just Adele here as well. There's Sarah Ellison. There's a lot, and they're doing really well, to be honest. I feel like there's been this huge, again, I think since COVID, just the market's grown. I think people want good design, and now it's available, and it is hard. The price points, obviously, of furniture, to invest in really good furniture, you have to be doing well. I think we all wish we could have everything,
Yes.
But there's definitely options, and there didn't used to be many options. IKEA, don't go there anymore. I mean, something, but you don't have to fill your whole house with IKEA anymore.
Yeah.
If you can't,
Things are becoming slowly more accessible.
Yes.
But you're right. It's picking and choosing where you're willing to invest.
Yeah.
And then balancing out the rest.
Which is hard in itself as well, because I think when we did this home, we had the whole vision. So we kind of, we got it all and for handover. Whereas if you're not doing it all at once, you have to sort of plan ahead, which is difficult. And I've had that issue because we've just renovated our places, and, it's like a long-term thing. So trying to get things slowly is difficult.
Yeah. Hard to not jump the gun. But I want everything now.
Totally.
Which is a real Shaw mentality. Everything should have been ordered yesterday.
Oh my God.
And what about materials? I mean, I really want to shout out our floorboards.
Yeah.
Sean and I spent the whole team, us, we spent a good 12 plus months, I think, trying to find the perfect timber floorboard. And we knew that was also going to be like paneling and heroing around our TV area and that whole wall unit. So it was really important for us to get that right. And we wanted to find the perfect color that, had a really neutral base. So it wasn't throwing off too much yellow, too much pink, too much gray, just really like neutral and really soft to tie into the rest of the finishings. And we found a few that we were really close to and that we almost secured, and we just had this gut instinct that it wasn't quite right.
Do you remember it was because that initial render we did, you're like, I want that one. I was like, Tess, I just made that on the computer.
Like, that's a made up color.
And that really set off.
It did. And we took like that image everywhere, and it's like, not quite right.
Would you say in the whole scheme of the home that could have been your hardest decision?
Oh, almost. I actually think so, because it took us the longest.
Everything else off as well. Like that's where all the other colours came from.
Exactly. It was a massive and because it's such a key feature in the home, I think it really does set the undertone of the whole home. So we ended up working with custom timber, and we created a custom board. So we basically did a hybrid. They have two boards that we quite liked. One was called Storm and one was called Alta. And so they basically mixed them to get this perfect neutral undertone board that we have.
And of the two.
We got to choose the amount of knots, the amount of like features on it, and it's honestly, it is so perfect. And I get so many messages on Instagram about it, and it's so exciting to say that that board is available for purchase. I don't know if it's on their website yet, but it's called the Sands board, and we absolutely love it. But I was going to ask you, Izzy, like, what other materials do you think are really popular at the moment? What are materials that you love working with? What are even some materials you've worked with in your own home that you think listeners would be interested in knowing about?
Yeah, good question. So I think a good floorboard is always key. If you can spend a bit more, I know there's a lot of products out there now like hybrids and things like that, but if you can just do a good engineered timber board, it'll last. And, I know not everyone's building or renovating their forever home, but it's good for everyone to consider just the sustainability of the next buyer and the next buyer, not everyone having to renovate every 5 years. So again, natural stone, it is always it's that price jump, but there are some natural stones, not all of them are super expensive per square meter rate. You can get some that are that bit lower, and it's, again, just not having too many materials in your home that are man-made and synthetic. I think it's nice to have a balance. And then again, like with tiles, you can get tiles range from, there's handmade, there's porcelain, ceramic. If you maybe just have a feature wall with something a bit more organic, you don't always have to just go a big sort of less expensive tile, and that brings it a bit of fun as well. Yeah. I think the sort of handmade earthy look. It won't, I don't think it'll go out.
And I think both of us, when we did our renovations, treated ourselves like a client a bit. And it was no different. You're just researching the products, and the mindset is not about following a trend or what looks good on the day it's done. It's what looks good in time.
Yeah.
And I think having that neutral, or this is my point anyway, having that more neutral base, you can always change it so easily, and you can always style it differently, and that's where you're somewhat restricted if you're incorporating a lot of color. So I think it's really great to do that, and I am a big fan of like different features and different room features, but I think for us, we know that we can always like change this up.
If you put a red couch in this room, it would completely change the look, but at least you're, and that's the thing. But if you do a red floor, red wall, that's a bit harder to change. So if you keep your canvas neutral, especially for resale, or if your personality might change, then you just style differently. And
some clients do have a room in the home that they have a lot of fun with. That's it. Like, some people really want to experiment with color, and you lean into it in a room.
It's so funny that you're saying this and we're sitting in this room, and I remember when we were in Izzy, we're talking about this colour of this wall, which is like a slightly darker shade to the rest of the rooms, and it was the biggest decision. You were like, oh, I don't think so. And I was like, no, I think I really wanted slightly darker.
And we were like, but where does it come from?
I know, how's it going to work? And it's still so fucking neutral. It's such a big thing.
No, it's come up good. I really like it.
Great. Yeah. Danica, what some advice you would give to someone who's maybe like renovating their first home or even building, but on more so of a budget?
I think just thinking long term. Don't follow the trends, as I said before. You've got to kind of do what's right for you. Do your homework on the products, and get, as Isa said as well, not the products that are so man-made, but more the natural products. And
you don't need too many finishes. You definitely don't need too many finishes. I feel like friends always ask me, like, what wall tile should I do? What should I do here? I'm like, just do the same tile. Like, you can't go wrong. If it's all minimal, do a little feature wall light.
Don't rush as well. Like, take your time, think about things. I think that's something that's what we carry through in every project we approach, is thinking about everything.
Do you know what I think people don't think about enough in maybe our realm? Like, younger people renovating, and is just investing in a designer. I'm sure even if you spoke to McKimm's, but, I'm sure to do it all yourself and to do it right is really hard. Like, it's our profession. So I think if maybe more people thought to just, all right, well, maybe we do get a designer on board, even just to assist to some degree, just so that way, I guess, it is timeless.
Cost could save, like, there could be an error in your renovation that if you had engaged a designer sooner, then it would have been avoided.
And even if it is a flip to resell, I'm sure we know by now how to add value to your property. So, give us a call.
No, I think that's a really important point, Dee, is like sometimes like investing early on, it's actually going to save you down the track. Because many of us, we're not the experts, and, we had a clear vision on a lot of things, but then there's a lot of elements that come into play that we don't have the experience to know about or think about, and that comes into both the architecture and to the styling.
It's like the nitty-gritty of it. Like,
I think that's really good advice. Where would you say is the biggest place to splurge and where to save when you want to design a home that feels like elevated but achievable?
Well, It's very subjective, but there's some generic areas that we would value manage or that you could have cost savings, and that's like if you select a feature stone in your kitchen and in your areas that you're spending a lot of time and that you're entertaining in, you could offset that by choosing something a little more cost effective, let's say in the laundries or more back of house areas, but still keep that same theme throughout your home. It's just, you don't need to be going with natural stone in all of those other areas.
I think having good cabinetry makes all the difference. If you spend maybe a little bit more, or doesn't even have to be spending more money, just spending more time in getting the details right. I see a lot of sort of rushed cabinetry where there's just panels and it's just shadow lines haven't been considered. That makes all the difference, and actually at no cost. So even if that's where you invest in a designer just to neaten things up a bit, I was like, and I did this in my kitchen instead of and pretty much all throughout your home too, Tess, we did the internal cabinetry colour not as a standard white. We did for you that sort of musky beigey pink sort of colour. So I did that in my place too, where I had timber cupboards inside. Where I had painted cupboards inside, I did a timber look. And rather than just looking at plain white, I feel like that really elevates it. It just makes it feel a lot more expensive. And it's not a huge additional cost. So that's a good tip.
That's a really good one. Yeah, I like that. It's funny that these were such big decisions when we were going along, and now I'm like, I can't even think what they look like.
It's all the little details, I think, that just that's what Danica was saying, take your time, because you can spend the same amount of money, and that it's not always about spending more. It's just about giving it the time it deserves to get those details right.
Totally. And living in something, when you start really living in a space, is when you really start understanding it. And that's why I think really taking that time, like and as you mentioned, cabinetry, like we spend so much time going back and forth on the dimensions of our cabinetry. And I think that's such an important one, because you need to think about how you use a space, how you utilize a space. It's not what the template says, because everyone uses a space slightly differently. Like my vanity and like bathroom area, like, was so particular about what I wanted and how I wanted to store my hair products and, you know, the larger items, styling tools and such. And so we curated over time, like a space that was really intentional for what I needed. And it just makes for so much more of a seamless, like, living experience. And I would say probably cabinetry could be one of the biggest things that I would say a lot of houses get wrong.
Totally.
And I was going to ask both of you, what would you say are some of the things that you see are often overlooked or people get wrong, which if you do give a little bit of that extra thought, creates a much more like cohesive outcome?
I would say people maybe don't stop to think about how they actually do use their space. And cabinetry just gets thrown in. But like, for example, in your scullery, we've got like, there's the zip tap, then there's the space that I think you're making your smoothies in. But we at least thought about where the toaster goes and what your morning routine is and how you flow through the space. Because you're going to, even if you are selling it, I'm sure the next person has a similar way of living. So probably just attention to how you experience a space.
Do you agree?
Oh, I think sometimes when people don't choose McKimm,
they always regret it.
I've heard that.
That's a good one. All right, I thought it would be really fun if we did a little like rapid fire questions. Are you ready? Yep. Izzy, what is your favorite interior color palette right now?
I've always loved red, but now red is everywhere. So I'm not saying it because it's a trend, because we always say don't follow the trends, but I love a dark red. Yeah. Earthy, moody, chocolate.
Like a nice burgundy kind of red.
Love a burgundy. A Pinot Noir. Yeah. A Merlot.
I am having this feng shui expert coming up on the podcast soon, and she actually talks about that you shouldn't have any red in your kitchen.
Oh, okay.
At least on display. So if you have red appliances, hide them.
That's going to happen.
But basically because red is associated with fire, and so it's seen, because there's fire elements in the kitchen, stovetop and stuff, that it's seen as like hazardous. Dangerous. And it's bad juju.
Gosh. Okay, no more red kitchens. I don't think we've done one yet. But
I mean, it's pretty out there. Danica, what is the most underrated design decision?
Choosing McKimm.
Izzy, what's a design trend you wish would disappear?
Those like scalloped sorry if anyone. But you know the scalloped battens that just people put on everything?
Yes.
Just and it's with all these other things and just don't
The stick on.
just like
The scallop tiles.
scalloped tiles, scalloped on your cabinetry on a wall, just enough.
Yeah. Fair.
No
I
more
feel you on that. Izzy, what's the best investment piece for any home?
A good couch will last you literally 50 years longer, and you can reupholster them. So if you've got a bit of money, put it in the couch.
Yeah, I agree with that. Danica, if budget wasn't an issue, what is a dream feature you would add to any house?
If budget wasn't an issue, I would say that everybody should have a space in their home that is a wellness element in some degree. Like some people love the physical exercise, some it's meditation, recovery, whatever it is, like create that space, make it yours. And it's incredible the value it adds to have a space like that in your home.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's your home after all.
Yeah,
Make
same
it
for
you. Yeah. Okay, what would be your favorite rooms? I get asked this a lot. I'll go last. You guys go first.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I'm obviously really drawn to the wellness space, but aside from that, I think the chill lounge at the front of the property, as you come in, you see it from the street. It's beautiful, and then it is kind of a tucked away hidden space that's really inviting and cozy. So definitely that.
I'm torn between, they're both powder rooms. The rooftop powder room, because I don't think anyone's really seen it. But
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no one knows about this.
no one knows about it.
Yeah, this is what I mean. The house keeps giving.
I know.
It keeps giving.
Do we all know there's a rooftop? There's a rooftop. We have bronze mirror on every wall and the ceiling. So you walk in there and it's just like this crazy fun little space.
It is the coolest space, and it's also somewhat hidden.
Yeah.
So it's basically a hidden door. It's actually the second hidden door we have in the house. Yeah. We were very adamant we wanted one because we thought that'd be really fun. So we've got that massive travertine slab, which was a big feature on the Vogue Living publication. So that's the powder room on the ground floor, which is insane. It weighs, I think, like 500 kilograms. It's on this pivot, which is an engineering master.
Like once you push
it,
it,
you just push it and it just flies open. Like
German
phenomenal.
You can tell you've been using a gym.
Yeah. Just like, she's strong. Full Popeye mode. So that's the first hidden door. And then Izzy, like on the rooftop is that second one. So it's all like hidden behind that beautiful bronze. What is that finish called? That bronze?
The cladding.
The external.
Oh, it's actually a zinc.
Oh, zinc.
Is it a zinc?
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is incredible.
Which is another fascinating thing about the home. There's actually no black features. So all the features and the linings and the finishings, they're all a dark bronze, which I think is really beautiful.
Especially when the light catches it and it shimmers a little bit. Yeah. It's really nice. But
definitely.
Or the front chill lounge is just like
it's divine.
beautiful.
It is. Yeah. I love all of the travertine and all of the stone throughout.
Yeah.
There's actually 60 slabs of stone in this home.
Wow.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
That was another thing that was a really big choice for us, is getting that perfect travertine.
Yeah. Actually, when we were standing at the front door before, I just was like, oh, it's so nice. Like that first slab when you come in just sets the tone.
100%.
Well, MSM Stone, they did a phenomenal job at all the stonemasonry, because we have so much curved stonework throughout the home, and that is not easy to achieve. And the lines are so minimal.
Yeah.
They have just done a phenomenal job. And obviously they did our master basin sinks as well. We really wanted to achieve that. Kim Kardashian. Everyone comes at me and they're like, it's Kanye's sink. And I'm like, well, Kim lives in the house, so I'm saying it's Kim's sink. Anyway, so that was our reference.
And they work.
They work.
Oh, yeah.
I think so much hate on TikTok. Like, shut up with the hate. They are the most phenomenal basins. And someone's like, how do you brush your teeth? I was like, with a toothbrush and toothpaste. Like, what do you think? It actually is better than a regular sink, because when you spit or when you're washing your face or whatever, it just goes straight in. There's no like overflow onto the bench, because it's all one seamless
I
slab.
was nervous about that. I was really nervous. And I was like, when it went in, I was like, all right, I'm going to test it. And I think Michael was with me. We go,
it's perfect.
Better than my sink.
It's literally
great engineering by MSN Stone.
Phenomenal. You can turn it up full. It doesn't overflow. It's
really good.
Insane engineering.
Yeah. Even the block of travertine, the basin in the ground floor powder, getting getting that sourced through MSM was really exciting. It was just a concept image. I was like, can we get a chunk of travertine with a raw edge?
Yeah.
Sure, we'll find it.
Yeah, I'd seen so many beautiful references online of these like really raw, organic, natural
I love
things.
that room too. It's like a cave in there.
Yeah, that powder room is another really wow moment. And I also love, gets a lot of comments, is the mirrors in there. So they have that was custom designed as well by you.
Yeah, and then Proxima made them.
Proxima made them. And what do you call that mirror that has the vintage?
So it's an antique mirror, but it's bronzed. So it's got the film sort of looks really old, but it's a new mirror. Yeah.
Even to the points where we've even considered like the toilet color.
Yeah.
So we have our toilets are from
Cello.
Yeah,
Italian. Yeah.
We've got these beautiful neutral beige colored toilets, which we've
like
only done. They're an investment, so we've only done them in like the feature rooms. Yeah. But I think that's another thing that just like really elevates a space. And obviously the bathroom again can be like overlooked. Toilet can be overlooked, but
so
making that
little powder rooms, like a lot of older homes, you know, there's a toilet cubicle in a house, but there's no fun in it, and that's a great space to have a bit of fun in if you do want to explore something different.
Definitely,
Yeah, I would say it's really hard for me to choose one room in particular because each room is so beautifully designed. I would say definitely probably the wellness zone is just such an amazing destination. And even like the steam shower in there.
I was going to say the tiles.
We've chosen these beautiful tiles. We call them the rainbow fish tiles.
They're so cool.
Beautiful, reflective, really subtle, like pastely rainbow translucent.
Yeah.
They're really beautiful. And I remember we went back and forth a bit on having those really small mosaic tiles. We weren't sure and you were like, I promise you they're going to look amazing. And they really do.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys have done a phenomenal job at bringing our vision to life. We're just so happy. Even Sean walked up to me this morning and he was like, I was just looking at our house and I just feel like so happy and so proud. Like I'm so grateful.
That's the best.
Good. That's really
that's so good to hear. And we're so happy for you guys. It's been such an incredible journey. It's seeing some huge milestones for you as a couple as well and being part of it, and then sitting here today. It's crazy. Yeah.
It's been so fun. I want to say until the next, but then I'm like, well, we don't really want to move.
It's like, okay.
I know. We thought if we end up having 5 kids, we might need to do a little renovation, add on another floor or something.
Could do. Well, we've got the rooftop, so surely council will approve another
council, definitely. But yeah, it's gone from what was the Bel Air of Brighton to Brighton Sands with you being involved. It's really become...
Still is the Bel Air of Brighton, I'd say.
The hybrid.
So, it's just such a proud moment for us.
It's been such a pleasure chatting to you guys. I love to end my episodes by asking our guests to leave like a little verbal entry in the Test Talks diary. So you've obviously given us lots of suggestions and pieces of advice, but do you have like one lasting piece of advice each, or just like a quote or like something you'd like to leave behind for listeners?
Yep. Okay.
I don't know if I prepared you for this one, but
so when we first met Sean, before he came in, I think I watched a lot of his interviews. I was just so excited to potentially be working with him. And I remember watching one about how he loves the book Good to Great and that it informed a lot of the way he ran his business and I think his outlook on life in general. So I read that. And
so cute.
I tried to like drop some quotes in the early stages.
Just get real aligned with the client.
It must have worked because we got the job. But no, one of those quotes is to get the right people on the bus and then figure out where you're going. And I feel that is probably what Sean has done here with this home, making sure he's got the right team. I think I've carried that through the way we run things at McKimm as well. And it's so important, just like even some of the people we've mentioned today, like MSM Stone, involving them early on so that we can execute what we're envisaging. That is something that from reading that book and from watching Sean's interviews have kept with me.
you've actually really solidified everything that Sean really lives by. He's very big on that. Getting the right team, getting the best people together and then figuring out how you can work together and curate your vision. And he's carried that through his whole life and through his whole business career. And obviously that's exactly how we kind of worked on this home together and got such an amazing team, and we're very particular about all the suppliers we worked with and getting a really good crew of people to bring this vision to life.
Yeah.
I think my advice on top of that would be, that when we were also saying before about where to splurge, if you can, not even splurge, but just invest that little bit more in your trades, in your suppliers, and making sure you're working with trusted, good people, your build will be a lot more seamless and just flow better. And again, just that level of ongoing sustainability, bringing in the good craftsmanship, and try not to skimp out on too much. And I think, but also my other piece of advice is be a little bit brave. You don't have to just make everything, people freak out when they're doing a reno and they just go white, everything white. And then it's literally all white.
Everyone has opinions on what you're doing, and you've got to stick to what you believe in and what's right for you.
Yes.
So,
That's it.
And there's no right or wrong. Design is subjective. It's your home. So I think make it exactly how you want it.
Look, that's actually a good point, because Sean and I did push back on a few things and it's kind of about finding that happy medium of knowing when something's really important to us and when is worth following the lead of the experts. So,
and then it's finding that balance of getting to know each other more, and then we sort of knew what you'd like, and
Well, thank you so much for chatting to me. It's been so fun. I'm going to put in the show notes all the details to the key suppliers and brands that we've called out. I'm going to put all the details for McKimm below so people can reach out if they want to speak to either of you or anyone at the team. And I'll also share all the Vogue Living features and links. So if you haven't already read and watched the YouTube video, go and check it out. And thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us, Tess.
Thanks so much for listening. If you loved the episode, please subscribe, rate and review. It honestly means so much and helps to keep these conversations going. And I'd love to connect with you. You can message me on Instagram or TikTok, and I've left all the details from the episode in the show notes below. I'll see you next week.